Hello, my name is Anna. I'm a digital fantasy artist, and today I'm going to tell you how to improve your digital art skills quickly. I have been feeling a little bit unmotivated with my own art, so I just really wanted to make a video about how to improve your digital art skills to help you guys and remind myself that it's not because you are feeling unmotivated with your painting that you're a bad painter or a bad artist. It's just levels of getting better and learning, and there is so much to learn in art, and we just need to push through the feelings of not being enough and just feeling unmotivated to paint basically anything. So I hope you guys like this video, and without further ado, let's start. The first thing that I wanted to talk about improving your digital art skills as quickly as possible is that you first need to know that there are so many things to learn in art, and it really depends on where you want to go. So it's always good to lower your expectations on yourself and have certain specific goals for where you want to go directly. For example, if I want to be a splash artist, there are certain things that I need to learn that someone who has a more cartoon style is not going to need to learn. So just having a prior understanding that art has so many subjects inside of it and understanding that it really depends on where you want to go already helps you set the environment for you to be a better artist and make better art. The second step, and one of the hardest for me, is for you to know what you like and don't like about your art. Again, it's always good when you feel like you need to improve or you want to improve quickly for you to review your old art and really think about it in a more detached way. Like, what do you like about your art style now? What do you like about your art now? What do you think you could do better? What is not working? Like, get a paper, write pros and cons of your own art and what you want to change, because if you're feeling like you need to improve, and especially improve quickly, it's you probably know there's something that you don't like about your art and that you want it to change. So writing it down and not judging yourself in your art, but just knowing that there are a few things that you need to get better at already sets you ahead for a really quicker improvement. After you understand that it's going to take some time and you know the direction that you want and need to improve, I would recommend you getting inspiration and getting more references. Every single time that you make a study or a painting, you should have so many references. And especially when you want to change your art, it's important for you to maybe make a new mood board or a new inspiration folder of the artists and artworks that you like and you would like to paint like them. So it's really important for you to review your references, maybe review the people you follow and the accounts that inspire you, so you can know different artists and know different ways to make art. Maybe even watch speed paints or tutorials of different artists painting their paintings for you to have new aspirations of where you want to go with your own art and kind of redefine what you need to get better at. The third thing that I would say is for you to start studying. It's really frustrating when we want to paint a painting and we sit down and we start painting it and it just doesn't look like we want it to. And you're not going to improve on your art if you don't have references. And when I say reference, I don't mean copying an image or copying a certain aspect of an image. It's for you to actually understand from studying from life how the thing actually looks. And when you're trying to apply it to a personal painting or a commission, you have it on the back of your mind, but then you have various images, a library of images for you to kind of look and recreate in your own way. If you don't study from life, even if you have a cartoon style, if you don't study other artworks, if you don't study how other people paint their own paintings, you're not going to have enough visual library for you to create your own art and for you to improve. If you feel like you need to improve, it's because your visual library isn't enough. And that's why I'm saying get new references and study from life. Studying from life, it's always really helpful, especially for you to find your own style. I'm going to make a video about finding your style, but when you study from life, you take aspects of the photo that you really like and you put it on your painting, and that starts building a specific style and a specific language that you have on your artworks. So it's really important for you to not only depend on your imagination and on your visual library, because for you to improve, you need to study new pictures, you need to look at new things. So do not jump the study time. My fourth point after this would be for you to be kind to yourself and give yourself time for you to actually improve. Studying, even though it's really important, it's really hard because if you're studying something that you don't usually do because you're trying to improve, you're going to face some difficulties. And when we are faced with difficulties, we tend to either get aggressive towards ourselves and say that we aren't enough, or we get sad and we give up. So it's really important for you to be your own best friend. I talked about this on my video for being consistent, for you to be there for yourself and know that for you to improve, you're going to have to do really tough studies and have to go through a really tough time with practicing and experiencing new objects and new subjects on art. So you really need to be there for yourself and know that it's going to take some time for you to improve. Even though for you to improve quickly, you need to be able to sit down and paint, it still takes years to get better in art. So you shouldn't have such high expectations on yourself to just sit down and start painting so much better than you used to paint. That's not going to happen. Even though you can make the process faster, it still takes lots of time to get as good as the artist that you look up to. So being there for yourself and giving yourself time to make mistakes and experiment and do studies over and over again, it's a really important step that you shouldn't skip. My next tip for improving quickly is to experiment with different brushes. If you are a beginner artist, I would recommend that you don't really download any new brushes from the internet. Like, using just the general brushes is great, but if you feel like you're stuck and you feel like your art doesn't have a certain texture that you wanted it to have, or doesn't have a look, you should experience with new brushes. So go for your favorite artist's speed paints, learn their workflow, learn how they use their brushes, and try their brushes. Try brushes that you are afraid to use. I am always really afraid of using really textured brushes because I feel like they bring so much attention to themselves. But maybe that's what you need in your art, to know how to learn new brushes and how to use it in your own workflow. So don't be afraid to try new things like this and to experiment outside of your usual workflow, because maybe your workflow is actually tying you down to a certain result that you don't like anymore. This tip goes together with my next tip, that is to enhance your art. Use color dodge, learn how to use gradient maps. Like, if you think your art is done, work on it a little bit more. Try to add glow to your art, make new textures in the background. Try to play with all the aspects that Photoshop has or Clip Studio Paint. Try to add more ambient light. Try to use more airbrush. If you're an airbrush hater like me, I literally never use that, but maybe that's what is missing, you know? Maybe try to add more saturated colors. Try to add more obvious highlights. Have fun with it. I feel like it's really important for you to go outside of your comfort zone and try to push your artwork a little bit more. Like, when you think it's done, do a little bit more, add a little bit more of glow or darkness or colors. Just sit with it and try to enhance it more. There are lots of good YouTube videos for enhancing your art, and maybe that's what your art needs. It's not that its base is bad. Maybe you don't need studying. You just need to push the rendering a little bit more and add the final effects to make it better. And again, this goes with the other tip, that is to have fun with your art. I feel like when we are so focused on improving, we forget why we like painting in the first place. And life is hard as it is, and we push ourselves so much. We just get inside our heads and tell ourselves that our art isn't good enough and compare ourselves, especially as artists who have so much imposter syndrome as well. So it's important for you to have fun with it. Allow yourself to have fun with your art, with your process, and to try new things. And don't always try to be perfect when in your artworks. Don't try to just go in a art standard. You don't want your art to be like everyone else's. Your art is yours, so just allow yourself to have fun with it and try to remember why you liked art in the first place before it became such a heavy hobby to carry, or maybe even your profession. My 7th tip, I don't know if you're going to agree with it, so put it down on the comments if you think this tip is helpful, but it's to take breaks. And I feel like us artists, we're almost workaholics, because at least for me, it takes like 10 hours for me to make a painting. So you basically just spend your whole day painting. You don't even talk to anyone, and you just get addicted to work. And sometimes we forget to take breaks. We forget to call our friends and remember that art isn't the definition of who we are as people. So maybe what you need to be able to improve is to take a little break from your painting. I understand that a lot of us are working and we can't just stop painting, but if you are able to take a few days without any, for example, digital art, maybe even change mediums. Maybe you just need a break from your screen, like get a sketchbook, go sketch outside, go walk in the park, maybe changing a bit, or maybe just taking a break and not thinking about art at all is actually the thing that is going to help you improve the most. So please don't overlook this step, and I hope you guys tell me that you do take breaks, so please leave a comment below. And in the next section of this video, I'm going to talk about how to create more unique art, because sometimes it's not that you don't like your art, but it's because you feel like you're always painting the same artwork over and over again. Like, I feel like lots of us, we look at our own portfolios and we just feel like it's the same painting, just different characters in different settings. So my tip for making more unique arts is first to go back to painting only for your own imagination. It's really important as artists for us to keep making personal pieces, and I feel like it is still important to make paintings from our own imagination without reference. Even though, as I said in this video, references are really important, you should have a habit of painting from imagination, because it's literally what's in your soul is going to come to the paper. And sometimes you can't improve in art because you're just so stuck with making it exactly like your references. And maybe that's why you just feel so stuck and not able to actually express yourself. So allowing yourself to paint from imagination and paint your own personal artworks sometimes is just so relaxing for you to just be able to do whatever you want. So maybe consider that, because it might help you make more dynamic and different artworks and not always feel like you're making the same painting over and over again. Another tip that I think helps you just make better art is to focus on telling a story. And even though, for example, I make lots of book characters fan art, I do have my own OCs, and I feel like making the lore for your own characters, they are so, it's so good, it's so relaxing, it's such a new inspiration that just comes to your life. So just taking the time to create original characters and making a story for them, it just might bring you so many new ideas, and you're going to see how fast you're going to improve. You're just going to be wanting to paint every single day. Another tip that I have is for you to experiment with different techniques. If you feel like you're painting the same painting over and over again, it's really important to refresh perspective studies and try to paint characters in different landscapes. For example, I avoid city landscapes so much. So maybe the thing that is missing my art is for me to try more perspective studies and put my characters in different settings, like drawing more cities, drawing more skyscrapers, drawing more different perspectives, like someone falling, for example. A really good tip as well is for you to try different camera angles. So looking at splash arts, or just zooming in, or just putting the camera angle from the ground, it can bring so many make your art so much more dynamic than it is. So it's really good for you to consider that, and it's going to make you improve much faster as well, because you're going to get really creative with the camera angles and stop painting the same painting over and over again. Something that really helps as well is to do mood studies. For example, if you make the same scene, because sometimes you do have good perspective studies and camera angles, but you don't know how to work with the color and light. So make a sketch and try to make mood studies with it. For example, paint the same scene over and over again, but with different light settings. For example, a sunset light, a moonlight, and a midday sunlight. So you can bring different types of saturation and color and paint more dynamic paintings. So it's really interesting for you to do that. But again, you need to know where you need to improve fast. So think about what lacks on your paintings and your portfolio, and go ahead and study more of it and practice more of it. My last tip for improve quickly before the video ends is for you to think outside the box. Sometimes what you need is to paint different subjects. For example, if you've been painting humans or women for your whole life, try to paint men. Maybe you're going to face new difficulties that is going to make your whole artwork so much better. Maybe if you're just painting humans, try to paint animals. And if you're just painting domestic animals like horses or cows or dogs, try to paint wild animals. And the list goes on and on. If you only paint backgrounds, start painting characters. If you only paint trees, start painting cities. It's always about making new challenges for yourself and painting and thinking outside your box, thinking outside what you've done your whole life. And this is how you improve. It's not easy. It's really hard actually, and hard to keep being consistent when you're improving, but it's so much worth it when you finally see how far you've come. But that's basically it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you were curious, I am painting Rhysand and Feyre in the Starfall scene from Akotar. I love to do this type of bookish artworks, and I'm in love with Akotar and Sarah J. Maas. And if you are wondering, my commissions are open. This would be around $160 commission. My link is on the comments. And that's it. This is the final artwork. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And please give me some feedback in this video. I release a study with me video every Wednesday and an art commentary video every Saturday. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Really hope to see you in the next one. Bye!